Welcome back inside the Chamber of Truth with your co-host Leek and Josh. We got Kane with us in the building per usual. Today, we are going to go back to the 140-pound division.
The prodigal son has returned. the prodigal son has returned.
The savior of boxing.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, host.
Yeah, so we're here to discuss today the return of Devin the Dream Haney to the ring. He's supposed to be fighting in March via his Twitter. And I believe he'll be fighting on BLK Prime Network. You got it from here.
Absolutely. Oh, I got it from here.
You said that's all you need.
I'm absolutely excited. The last time we saw Devin Haney, we saw him fighting a cheater. Basically, somebody who is currently right now suspended. First of all, Kane, I don't know why is your head going back. Everything I'm saying is facts.
Yeah, we not talked about these a couple episodes in a row about the cheat. We ain't gonna let him go, huh?
He was cheated unfairly by a man who is currently suspended right now and is actually fighting an exhibition off in Japan because he is not licensed to be fighting anywhere in America at the moment. That is the kind of man who we were fighting. That he was caught with IVs 4 hours after the fight and didn't make weight and took PEDs and then tried to blame it on the company, the supplement company, and the supplement company sent the same lot that he had and proved that there was no Ostarine in their supplements and basically sent a cease and desist letter to his lawyers and told them, if y'all don't shut your mouths, we can sue you. And that's when they was settled with the New York State Athletic Commission. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
Devin Haney, after that, unfortunate beating that we took from a cheater and somebody who was on performance-enhancing drugs, we had to relax. Devin Haney, continued to work out, continued to get better at his craft, learned to fix his mistakes that took place in the fight. And now it's time for our glorious return for, a tune-up fight on March 25th on BLK Prime. Most likely against Blair Cobbs, but if it's not against Blair Cobbs, it's against another worthy opponent. But we will be ready to showcase our skills, and showcase that we have been back. We've been working on our skills, and we have not missed a beat. And that if we fairly fight anybody on a 50-50 level on an even playing field with no performance-enhancing drugs, Devin Haney will not be beat.
So we have to assume right now that Blair Cobbs may be the leader in the club.
Possibly. That's not confirmed.
Just because he's fought on BLK Prime before against Broner, his last fight. Other than that, we don't know who Devin Haney might be fighting. I mean, we can assume he's not returning to the ring to face any of the current champions at the division. He's currently still the WBC champion in recess. Alberto Puello and Sandor Martin are currently scheduled to fight. Puello is the interim or the current WBC champion until Haney's return is complete. So, he may be set up to fight one of them for his next fight. But right now, it's kind of up in the air. He hasn't dropped any hints or anything. So at this point, we're just guessing who he may be fighting. Potential opponents I would throw out there: Blair Cobbs, potentially Teofimo Lopez, who keeps talking back and forth with him on Twitter. I don't think that this is going to be the fight because that would be more promoted if it was.
Absolutely.
They would have just announced it and started promo on that because that's a mega fight. Right. And you shouldn't come back from what just happened and fight Teofimo on your return. That just doesn't make sense. There's other options out there like Michelle Rivera, Arnold Barbosa, Jose Ramirez. There's a bunch of potential opponents. We don't know who it's going to be. Who would you like to see him fight for his tune-up or coming up next?
To be honest with you, I'd be very interested in him fighting Blair Cobbs, but at the same time, that is a dangerous opponent, and I would be very impressed if he came back and fought Blair Cobbs and did a unanimous decision on him, outboxed him to death or KO'd him. Now, if it's not Blair Cobbs, then I really don't care who it is, because at the end of the day, I do believe in tune-up fights. I do believe in getting your rust off. Devin Haney, he's been out the ring pretty much almost a year now. Which is well needed after that beating that we took from the cheater that we faced, where we were assaulted in the ring, and there was consequences and repercussions from the person that we were assaulted by. And there are actually further consequences and repercussions that are ongoing right now in the matter of the law, but we will leave that alone. But with that being said, we're ready to get back in the ring. We're ready to fight. And personally, like I said, I would either like to see Blair Cobbs, but other than that, to be honest with you, man, I'm just excited. Devin Haney's getting back in the ring. I think the sport is a lot more exciting, and I think the sport has a lot more interest in it when Devin Haney and his father are in it. talking their shit, like I said, man, boxing, there has to be some kind of show, there has to be some kind of villain, and I'm not comparing him to the Son of Man, but the Son of Man was hated when he was on Earth.
Oh my God.
The Son of Man was cheated out of death. Devin Haney was cheated out of his loss, but was given back.
I just
Does
want
that sound like a resurrection of a loss?
So we compared Haney to Jesus of Nazareth.
That's what just happened.
Did you not just hear
y'all.
me say Haney is nowhere near the Son of Man and it will never be the Son of Man?
As
Before
you
I
were
made my
drawing the
statement?
comparison to him, you
Parallels
said
and all
that.
that.
As you drew the parallel.
I just said Haney is a spiritual man who has devoted his life to God, and he has been treated the worst by the public in the sport of boxing.
Oh my.
So they strung him up, huh?
They strung him up. They took them PEDs and IVs. They strung up. The tubes. Didn't even make weight.
So the March 25th is the second coming.
March 25th is a return. I'm not saying it's the second coming. That's what I'm saying. I hate this social media age. People just want to take 5 seconds of what you said and blow it up when I be saying. People don't realize I said Devin Haney will never be the Son of Man. But they want to hear me say.
Devin Haney is the son of Bill Haney.
And you're absolutely right. That is his earthly father.
I got a question that's supposed to you, Kane.
Go ahead and ask Kane.
What would you like to see different from Haney when he returns? As far as technically, how do you want to see him improve, or even just as far as career moves? What do you want to see from Haney as he returns?
I would like to see him not hit the mat.
That won't be an issue. Like I said, that won't be an issue when somebody doesn't take performance-enhancing drugs.
I believe the question was posed to Kane.
If you make weights like you're contractually obligated to do, and if you don't take performance-enhancing drugs like you're contractually obligated to do, we will not have a problem beating your ass. But the only way you can beat the Son of Man, the child of God, is to cheat.
So he is the Son of Man.
I didn't say he was a son of man. I said the only way they chose Barnabas over the Son of Man.
Oh my God.
They chose Ryan Garcia, a cocaine user, somebody who was shown to be racist. They chosen that man over a child of God and Devin Haney. But it's okay. That's what we children of God expect. For any man that is an enemy of the world.
Oh my God.
As a friend of the Father's.
I will return to you, Kane, for the question I posed.
As far as just we talked about last time, I do like that Haney does try to take, make the fights that the people want to see. I like that he does try to take the tough fights.
Absolutely.
That he is, like we troll him a lot, but he is a warrior. He does try to fight the best options that he does have. As far as just like in the ring improvements, he was cheated, you know what I mean? So
Kane, there is no hesitation about this. The
he
man was
cheated.
suspended for a year by the New York. He settled and paid $1 million fine to the New York State Athletic Commission. That is a fact. He took performance-enhancing drugs. That is a fact.
So
the laws got reversed into a no contest. That is a fact. That only happens when you cheat.
He
fought a cheater.
He fought a
Kane,
cheater. He fought a
thank
cheater,
you.
Man. Yeah, he fought a cheater.
Why are you? Say it with your chest. God damn it.
Can he get his statement
No.
out?
The nigga fought a cheater. And you're being hesitant about it.
So
These kind of fighters in the sport of boxing must be banned.
So we can't move on with our lives. Huh? We got to harp on the cheat.
Kane, how am I supposed to move on with my life when you've already beaten the ounce of it?
Oh, shit.
You took performance-enhancing drugs to have an advantage.
I mean, apparently from what I saw on Twitter, Devin was working on his feet work. I don't know if he's doing cone drills.
He was working on his feet.
Like I said,
fundamentals.
The loss never deterred our spirits. We were in the gym immediately working on the basics of boxing.
I just want to see
wrong
Haney.
with that?
I do want to see Haney back in the ring.
I know you want to see Haney back in the ring.
He has a good skill set. I mean, there's always things you can improve on, whether it's your footwork, your angles. You know what I mean? Just certain little nuances about the sport. It is called the sweet science for a reason. But I just want to continue to see him make the fights that are necessary for him to keep the upward trajectory that he did have before the incident occurred. You know what I mean? But it's just gonna be interesting to see him back. I really can't say you know what I mean? I got an idea of what I would want to see from him, like as far as just like who I would want him to fight and things of that nature. But, you know, he's champion in recess, so a lot of it is just depending on what happens going forward on the 25th.
Josh, you think he'll be undisputed again?
I possibly, if that's what they want to pursue. Being undisputed, to be honest with you, is a tough thing to do in this day and age because you have to have, to be honest with you, chances are you have to have multiple promoters working with each other, and that means multiple promoters have to put their fighters at risk and their promotions at risk of possibly losing a championship belt. And not a lot of promotion companies want to do that because the thing is, when you do that, a lot of the money gets out, you know, especially for the fighters in that weight class, and you know, a lot of plans that you had in the future. So personally, I don't believe so because I feel like once you've done it once, you know, you possibly can't do it again, but once you've done it once, it becomes less of a priority, in my opinion, in terms of, you know, compared to making the bigger fights or making better money fights or fights that are stylistically better for you. You know, and not having to deal with 3 or 4 different promoters, having to deal with the A side and the B side and revenue splits and TV shares and all that stuff. When you start getting to that gets tricky.
Yeah, I think as his career progresses, he's learning that you can still make the big money fights without the belts being attached to him. Hence the Ryan Garcia fight he just had, which was reportedly his biggest payday, and his belt wasn't even on the line for that fight because Ryan didn't make weight. Also, he's been in negotiations before with Tank Davis, who we know makes big fights at any given time with one or fewer belts being on the line at any given time for those fights. So it's more about early in his career, him and his team felt like they needed the belts to kind of garner the respect and leverage to negotiate for bigger paydays. But now that his name is his name, he doesn't necessarily need those belts to have that same negotiating power. So he could probably get some of those big paydays without having to fight for titles, or at least without having to unify all of them and pay all those different sanctioning fees and go through the trouble it takes to be undisputed again. I know for a while they said they wanted to do it, but the way 140 is looking, it doesn't seem realistic for anybody to go undisputed at 140 right now. It's a lot of killers up there, and that just seems to be like a really tough route to go down. But as it pertains to Haney, Josh, I want to pose the same question to you I posed to Kane. What do you look for him to change moving forward, either technically or as far as how he moves his career?
Who? In terms of Haney?
Yeah.
Personally, to be honest with you,
what are you excited about him bringing back to the game?
I honestly, I'm personally excited about him bringing back technical boxing back to the game. So Haney is a technical boxer. He doesn't have the most power, but in my opinion, Haney doesn't need power. He has great distance management, has a great jab. Haney is a quintessential boxer, and in this day and age, a lot of people don't really like quintessential boxers, but Haney is aggressive. Haney actually likes getting into fights. Haney actually likes making big fights. So coming back, he's been working with Mickey Bey, who a lot of people don't know. Mickey Bey is a former 135-pound titleist. Mickey Bey was a very, very, very technically sound, technical fighter himself. Very good footwork, very good head movement, very good defense. And so with that experience that Mickey Bey has and being in the Mayweather gym and being trained by the Mayweathers for so long, I personally think him working with Mickey Bey as possibly his new head trainer, I think that's going to, shore up just a few of Devin's technical deficiencies, in my opinion. So, honestly, I just think Devin didn't need too much. He didn't need too much changing up. Just tighten up on a few things, tighten up on a few defensive things. But like I said, I personally also think there were other factors going into this Ryan Garcia fight that also affected a lot of the outcomes, other than the fact that obviously Ryan was cheating. When you have somebody going off and basically being a maniac, you think you're just going to walk in the fight and beat somebody's ass. That may affect your preparation. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things, a lot of outside factors that I think affected this outcome.
You saying he lost in mental warfare?
There was no mental warfare, is what I'm saying. The man was crazy. They didn't even know if the fight was going to happen.
That's mental warfare.
How would he know that wasn't a part of his plan?
That's mental warfare.
That could possibly be mental warfare. And that's the thing, we weren't prepared for that kind of mental warfare. Because now you're fucking with our money. It ain't mental warfare when you're fucking with our money.
He might have increased the money. You don't know that.
He might have. He might have, but that's up to Malik to decide.
So I'm the last say. I'm the end all be all. I'm not the authority.
That's not what you told me.
So Haney is back in March. We don't know who he's fighting. What about it being on BLK Prime? The The last fight I saw on BLK Prime was Blair Cobbs versus Adrian Broner. The product itself was interesting. I watched it for sure, but I definitely had my gripes with the way that it was presented. It's not my favorite platform to watch fights on.
Yes.
Why do you think he's going this route, and how is that going to impact, this promotion?
Personally, I like him going this route. First and foremost, what people don't realize is that these small promotions and these small shows are very instrumental in the sport of boxing. A lot of the champions that you see now, a lot of the fighters that you see now, a lot of the contenders that you see now, all had to fight on small shows. And I'm talking about King's Promotions, back in Philadelphia. I'm talking about Pro Box TV, BOK Prime. You have to go through a small show to get up to the big stage. And yeah, now obviously with the small shows, as Malik experienced, there may be some technical difficulties with these smaller shows. There may be some inconveniences that you may have to deal with, with these smaller shows. But at the end of the day, I personally love it because it does nothing but give more attention and bring more money and value to these smaller shows. For example, Pro Box TV. Look at Lamont Roach. Went from Pro Box to having the worst first world title fight on Pro Box TV to now jumping into basically one of the biggest cash cows and the biggest stage in boxing, fighting Tank. That's one of the 2, 3, 4 biggest cash cows in boxing. That he just went from a smaller show to that. Then you got another fighter. Look at Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer fought on 2 King's Promotion cards that nobody really even knows. Y'all can't even tell me the people he fought. He fought Avery Sparrow and somebody else. I don't even know the other person's name. In Philadelphia. Then guess what? Went to the biggest stage on ESPN, did well, and went to another biggest stage on Golden Boy on the Saudi Arabia card with Turkey Al-Sheikh and then paying the bill.
But how does that make sense for the WBC champion in recess?
That's fine. That you got to realize, just because I liken it to baseball in the minor leagues. Niggas get injured, they don't keep you back on the big leagues. Niggas, they don't care what your name is. They send you to AAA. Go get your win back. Get your swing back. Get back to who you done, nigga. Let me finish. Let me finish, nigga.
No, I'm asking you something. So nobody want to pay for this tune-up, is what you're saying.
And that's perfectly fine.
I ain't never seen Derek Jeter in the minor leagues.
That's because you never paid attention to Derek Jeter's career.
Never paid attention to the captain.
Derek Jeter got sent to many rehab assignments and single A. They didn't even realize that. You see, I have to educate a young Kane about the sport of baseball.
Now it's the sport of
Don't
baseball.
do that. Don't put me back on the sport of baseball where I'm a real expert.
I don't know about the sport of baseball.
Don't do that, Kane. But with that being said, like I said, the small shows in boxing have always been a part of the sport of boxing in general. I love this move for Devin Haney. Like I said, if somebody ain't gonna pay the foot bill of us fighting a tune-up, like I said, Devin Haney is asking for a couple M's to fight a tune-up. I can't blame promoters for not wanting to pay that. There's nothing wrong with that. But guess what? The son of God, the Father, is always gonna have somebody to pay the bill. And we're just as grateful whether it's ESPN, Top Rank, DAZN, Queensberry Promotions, Matchroom, or if it's BOK Prime.
Matchroom didn't even want to pay for Haney and Sandor Martin, so I know they don't want to pay for Haney and unknown Haney versus X.
Top Rank was willing to pay for Sandor Martin.
It wasn't enough. That's why Haney didn't want to do it.
Not picking, with all due respect, we are grateful for the Father providing a possible opportunity of $1.2 million, but at this current time, we are worth more than that.
Well, and that's BLK Prime has been known to cut a bigger check than that.
And absolutely. And did you guys not forget the current pound-for-pound number 1 boxer in the world right now fought on BOK Prime? Terrence Crawford. And what did he do from there? Went from that to the biggest fight in 40 years.
Yeah, he got $10 million for him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So what's wrong with going to the small? Obviously, the small shows can provide money. Provide a good payday. So
I'll just ask the question.
Why do we fans in boxing knock the smaller shows? Where else are prospects supposed to go? There's no more HBO.
So stop. Let me answer that.
Go ahead.
Let me answer that. I'm knocking the smaller show because the last time I watched a BLK Prime fight, I was able to hear the corner man and the crowd more than I was able to hear the actual commentators of the fight.
And I understand that.
That is true.
And I'm sure that
the visual was not great.
And I'm sure BOK,
the audio was not
and you're right.
great.
And I'm sure BOK.
That's why.
And I'm sure BOK Prime has heard many complaints about that, and that will not be an issue moving forward.
You don't know that. Because they fight before that I saw wasn't great. Alvanesian and Crawford didn't look visually appealing.
I didn't mind that.
It was okay. It wasn't as bad as Cobbs and Broner.
Look, man.
But don't ask a question when there's an answer and then try to defend the answer. There was an answer.
Let me say this. You talking to a young child that was watching German, might I add you, German streams when I was, 10, 11 years old for pay-per-view fights that I couldn't get on HBO online.
So because you knew
Look,
how to
man,
pirate at a young
all I
age.
need is a camera. All I need is a working camera. 2 men to get into the square circle and fight. I don't need the publications. I don't need the promotions. All that is cool. I am there to see the fight.
That's cap.
I am there to see the fight.
So everything else involving the fight, the commentary,
Everything else,
that don't matter.
Of course that matters. The look matters, but you got to realize I'm a hardcore.
Yeah, you're also the same nigga that watches every press conference, face off, weigh in. Don't even sold me on this one. I'm like,
exactly. But you got to realize I've been doing this since yay high. I like seeing 2 men fight. Like I said, I like watching sparring videos of young prospects that only have 50 views on YouTube. I just like watching the sport of boxing. I don't need the publications. I don't need the promote. Now, of course, it looks good. You want to fight on the bigger promotions. You want to fight on the bigger cards. You want to fight on the HBOs, the DAZNs, the NBCs. You want to fight on the Amazon Primes. But you got to realize not everybody is top 2 in their weight class. If you top 10 to 15, you got to fight on the smaller shows. You got to stay active. There is nothing wrong with that. Look at Bruno Sarachi. Nobody knew who the hell he was. Steady 14, 15 ranked for 3-4 years. Got an opportunity against Jaime Munguia. And look what he did with
we're
it.
talking about Devin the Dream Haney.
I don't care. I'm giving you many examples of the sport of boxing. Devin Haney is not bigger than the sport of boxing.
I
thought it was Jesus.
You called him the son of God. You said he was Jesus' brother.
And this is what I'm saying, y'all. Social media taking my words out of context.
He didn't say he didn't call Haney the son of God.
Forgive him for he know not what he do.
Take him. Before I said all of that, I said Haney is nowhere near the Son of Man. But they want to discard that.
So we're not going to rewind the tape and hear he said,
ladies and gentlemen, the Chamber of Truth wants clickbaits. I apologize. I apologize.
That comes from our front office, the uppers. They've been asking for some clickbait.
Oh my
I
God.
apologize, but I'm not here to please man. I'm here to please the Father.
Apparently, Haney can walk on water, y'all.
Haney can't walk on water.
Well, it's good that the nigga coming back. I mean, he's good for the sport because, like I said, he does make big fights. So good for him to come back.
Absolutely.
Glad he's healthy and getting this shit together. I'm interested to see who it's going to be. We'll definitely be back here talking about it once we figure out who it is. For now, we're going to wrap it up. That's what we got for y'all today on Inside the Chamber of Truth.
Inside the Chamber of Truth.